welcome back to Art with Alex. Today we're going to take a step back and do kind of a more relaxing, simple project. Okay, so the last few projects we've done, they've been super awesome, and I know you guys have been doing a great job with them, but they've been a little advanced, a little tricky. So today we're going to take a step back and really focus on those basic lines, shapes, and colors that we learned about in that very first video. So this is again just going to be more of a relaxing, easy project to just use your pencil, your markers, whatever you have on hand, okay, and to just create something super fun, relaxing, but again, you're still really focusing and learning about those lines and shapes and things like that. Okay, so as usual, we're starting with pencil, okay, and if that's all you have, that's great. I will tell you what to do if you only have pencil. Otherwise, go ahead and get out markers, any other kind of material you may want to use. I'm going to be using a pencil, a permanent marker, and colored markers, okay? So let's go ahead, let's get started. And again, remember to really relax and just focus on the fun with this project, okay? Let's get started. All right, so today we are going to be doing a little bit of a more simple, just fun, easy project. As I said before, all of ours are going to look very different. I want you to be really creative and think about all the things we've learned so far. Okay, so here is an example of what you can do with this project. All right, and I definitely suggest going back and watching that very first video where we talk about holding the pencil and drawing lines and shapes. So this is basically just adding on to that little project, that little practice project that we did with those different lines and shapes, okay? So this is one example. I'll be doing something a little bit different with you today, but again, what I'm doing are just going to be more like suggestions, and you're gonna go from there and make it your own. So let's start with just pencil, all right, as usual, and then we'll move on to marker. All right, so as always, I'm going to hold my pencil nice and light like this, and then we're going to start again. I'm going to go diagonal like this. You can go straight down or straight across with your lines and shapes if you'd like to, okay? So I'm going to start with a zigzag line. So zigzag, remember, is just up and down until you get to the edge of the paper. Right, now I'm going to be drawing a little bit darker so that you can make sure that you can see what lines I'm drawing. Alright, and let's do another one. So one thing you can do with this project is you can do the same line or the same shape over and over again. Meaning you can keep tracing like this, so that they all kind of fit together like a puzzle piece. That's one thing that we can do. All right, another thing we can do is we can add on different types of lines. So now I'm going to do a nice wavy line. And again, I'm going to repeat that. So I like to do a few of the same thing to kind of mimic each other. But again, you can do zigzag then wave, or all zigzag, whatever you are feeling today. Okay, and let's do one more type of line that I like to do, a dashed line. So this one's a little different, right, because it doesn't close things up like this one does. So this will just be colored in a little bit differently. Let's make one more of those. So again, I want you just practicing, and we're doing this with a pencil, so if you draw a few lines and you decide, oh, I only want one of those, or I want a few more of those, you can erase it and you can go ahead and restart however you want. Okay, so lines are one option. Shapes are another one. Again, this is what we did in that first video. I drew a few different shapes next to each other. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do 3 circles, and then maybe a few squares, right? But you can also change them up. Little rectangular going on over here. Okay, but you can also do changing them up, like here I'll do like a diamond shape, and then a rectangle going this way, and then a diamond. All right, so really play with those patterns, and you can even combine your lines in your shapes, like maybe adding in a line in between your shapes to make it a little more interesting. All right, so we're really going for that abstract art feel, which means it doesn't necessarily have to be anything specific, right? The viewer doesn't have to know what we're drawing. All right, that's what abstract usually means. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish up my pencil lines, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. All right, so that is the very base of my drawing, okay? And as you can see, you can add in a few things that are familiar, like if you want to do a heart or a flower or something like that, you can. But I would really challenge you to just focus on shapes and lines, okay? Because again, this is really going to help us be better artists. It's going to help us think more about how we use those lines and shapes. And now let's move on to color. So once you have this pencil finished, take as long as you need for that. All right. Now what I'm personally going to do is I'm going to take my dark black marker and I am going to trace over my pencil lines, and then I'll go in with color. Okay. You can take color and go over these lines, or you can leave them pencil. That's up to you. Okay, and remember, if you just have a pencil, you're keeping it like this, and then you can maybe shade in a few shapes, different colors, different shades, different pencil shades, okay? So there's always something you can do if you only have a pencil. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to darken these lines with my black marker. All right, for my little ones, I would suggest a washable black marker or just sticking with the pencil, okay? But my older ones, go ahead and grab a permanent marker if you would like to use it. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's trace these lines, and then we'll talk about color. All right, so I have now darkened my lines, and one thing that you can do if, like me, you kind of miss some of your pencil marks, you can just erase. Once that marker dries, you can go in and you can erase that pencil and it will not mess up the marker at all. All right, but also when we start to color in our shapes and start using marker or something like that, it usually covers up that pencil as well. So that's only if you want to do that. You absolutely do not have to. Alright, so the next step is color. Now it is basically just completely up to you what you do with the rest of this project. I am going to show you a few different ways to color in, just so that if you want to do it like me, you can. Alright, but again, it's going to differ for different ages. So my younger ones, I want you to use this as a time to really work on coloring in right in those lines. So practice coloring in the lines. So for example, you are just going to be taking markers, crayons, colored pencil, whatever you have, even just a pencil. All right, and you're going to be practicing really coloring in those lines. So take your time, right? Don't try to do it as fast as me. Just take your time and practice coloring in those lines, right? So that's one way that you can use this project to help you learn. Another way for some of my more advanced students, all right, you're going to think about the different colors you're using and why you're using them, and maybe different ways that you can use them. So we learned about color, we learned about primaries and secondaries and complementary. We did a few videos on complementary. So what you're going to do is you're going to think about how these colors look together, right? So for example, I have a kind of dark red here. I'm going to go in with the green next to it, just to really remind myself that those are complementary colors. All right, and again, you're deciding how you want to do this project, but these are just some ideas. If you're thinking, I have no idea how to color these in, I don't know what colors to use, then go ahead and take a look at what I do. All right, but if you do have some ideas, please go for it. and be as creative as you want. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to take a few minutes to just color in this page. Alright, and remember, afterwards I'll show you this example as well. This is another good example. Alright, so you can be as creative as you want. You can use multiple colors in one shape. You can color in around your lines, but also remember that you can leave white space. Alright, it's okay to leave white space. So whatever material you are using, go ahead and grab it. And I'm going to get started, and I'm just going to start coloring. And you can go ahead and you can watch, you can get some ideas, and then I want you to go in and color yours as well. Remember, abstract means that we don't really have to know what it is. It's made up of lines and shapes, and that is what is creating our image, okay? So, let's go ahead and have some fun with color and get started. Alright, so those are just a few different ideas. I really want you to use your own creativity, so I'm not going to color in my entire thing because I want you to use that creative mind of yours and think of different things that you can do. Another thing that you can maybe add on is you can draw more shapes or lines or patterns with your marker, right? So you don't have to necessarily stick to that black line. You can add, if you want to, I want to add some extra shapes or designs, you can go in with that marker, right? Another way to add some unique look to it. Alright, so again, I am literally just using any colors I want to, so I did kind of some complementary work here, but then I used some cool colors up here, and then I used all shades of purple and pink right here. Please just use your imagination. Here's kind of a completed look. You can absolutely keep white space. I actually really like keeping a little bit of white space to really make that color pop even more. So, as I've said, you're going to start with your pencil, darken your lines if you want to, and then just go in with color. So this is just kind of a fun, more relaxing activity that you can just make it your own, okay? You don't have to perfect drawing that specific object. You're just going to have fun with it. So please, like I said, have fun, relax, pull out those colors or just a pencil, either way, and have fun with this and be creative, okay? Great job today. I will see you next time.